the volcanoes that are done to me. Blood sacrifice. Why are flying saucers flying into Popo, the biggest volcano in Mexico, right on the outskirts of Mexico City, and they emerge? How can that happen? Because the only way to contain that amount of heat and temperature, a plasma, which is even hotter than magma, is by a magnetic field. Well, gee, how do these reverse engineered spacecraft fly? By generating magnetic fields. Oh, I get it. How can they fly in or towards the sun? Oh, I get it. The sun is obviously hotter than the magma of any volcanic. See, that's conspiracy. Every single thing we warned about over 25 years, that was called conspiracy. We were called fearmongers. We were called porn purveyors. I even know Christians that called me once. I said, you want to stay my friend? Go look up where the word conspiracy theorist showed up. You know who it was. It was CIA making it.
That's right.
To denigrate any form. And Bill Casey's famous statement, former director of CIA, we'll know our effects of mind control have been effective and complete when everything the American people believe is a lie. I submit, Doug, to all of our listeners, your listeners, viewers will see this. We're there, brother. We are there.
There's a blockbuster book coming out it's going to be released in May by Alex Marlowe, I believe, about the media and who actually controls the media. I really can't say much. It's Breitbart. It was on Breitbart, but everything that you're talking about right now with respect to the conspiracy theorist label and the media and the information that we're being fed is in that book. And I just find it very interesting how the stair-step disclosure is happening right now. The where we're at today is really, folks, where Steve said we'd be 20 years ago, give or take, a year or two, but nonetheless, here we are. So. And this Cascadia, again, the it's streaming on video. You can get it. Go to stevequayle.com, click on the books and products, and you'll see it. You can get it. There it is right there. It's worth your time to watch, either stream it or get the DVD. It's I really can't explain it, but it's very well done. The reason I can't explain it is because there's so much involved. There's so much in this, and what Steve had said too earlier about the area, and then think about as you watch this. Think about the events that are taking place today. Think about the so-called elite, going to their bunkers. Well, it's because of the civil unrest. Oh, okay, maybe, or maybe it's something different, or maybe But again, Cascadia is the big one. And that's stevequayle.com. And I would highly recommend everyone watching this show, definitely, if you haven't seen it already, watch that. And yeah, that's absolutely, I'm 100% behind you in all of this, Steve. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that we are here now. We find ourselves now. You'd said so much during this broadcast. I find it also equally amazing that, if I'm not mistaken, the wizard, you had made reference to the Wicked Witch of the West and the house falling on Judy Garland's ruby red slippers. I think were originally supposed to be made of silver. Just saying, okay, how all of this ties together. It's it's just it's maybe that didn't make sense to people, but if you've been paying attention, I think it does tie in with all of this. So, Steve, you've really done a fantastic job. And again, folks, if you haven't seen Steve on Alex Jones yesterday, you can go to HagmannReport.com, click right through to the program and band.video, Steve's segment on Alex Jones. And while we're talking, I just want to mention this. Folks, if you haven't done so already, take advantage of the Steve Quayle, Doug Hagmann, actually Steve Quayle special at the Satellite Phone Store. this is going to be the way of communication in the near future. You can get a SQ Inmarsat iSat phone 2 satellite phone, and look at the price right there. All right, you can't beat this. And I want to thank Steve for setting this up. Go to HagmannReport.com or SteveQuayle.com and click on the link for the satellite phone store, satellitephonestore.com. There it is right there, because this is going to come into your life through a program that's being created right now titled Galileo, spelled differently. It's on SteveQuayle.com. But folks, please pay attention to this, because communication will be important in the days ahead. And Steve, thanks for allowing me that little plug in there for Satellite Phone Store.
Well, and Doug, here's the thing. The satellite phones are not dependent on the internet going out. We saw that happen in Texas. Not dependent on power going out. And you can power the satellite phones from any like 12-volt storage. You know, I mean, there are all kinds of ways you can keep that charged. Now, obviously, you got to go outside for it. But again, the thing that's important, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the only way we can communicate. So I would go to the satellite phone store, and you know, this is something I think people need to understand. You know, I used to pay, when I got my first satellite phone, I used to pay $3 a minute. Now that was 10, 15 years ago. What's going on with the satellite phone store right now is you get the phone for free. It's like a $900 phone, brand new. You get a number. The number, fortunately, is on the back. You go on my website, and Doug, I don't know if you have that video on your website, but Eric may want to put it on your website, and you can order the SQ Special. And the SQ Special is the free phone, 150 minutes for $90. Just divide the time. Give that number. Now, people with satellite phones need to understand, you can call earth stations, meaning cell phones. You can call landlines. You can call just about anybody you want. But when it gets, you know what, has hit the you know what, the only way you can talk to anybody is cell phone to cell phone. Sorry, I take that back. Sat phone to sat phone. And the sat phone to sat phone, then there are a bunch of hams, shortwave radio people that have contacted me and say, we want to be a base station for this. Because the hams, and by the way, nothing makes the devil more furious than people who can communicate with each other. Doug, when he puts us into isolation, when things happen, our witness is cut off at that point. It's cut off. And so many Christians kowtow. Thank God for every pastor that said, we're not shutting the churches down. Oh, and by the way, when Gavin Newsom shut the churches down, guess what? He was out partying hardy. He was. When Cuomo did the same, or Cuomo did the same thing, he was partying. 90% of the restaurants in New York City can't open. They can't even pay their rent. Gee, if anybody understands commercial property and understands everything from insurance company investments to investment bankers, real estate investment trusts, all of the vehicles, they are based on primarily one thing. How do I amortize the cost of $1 billion building, and how can I get $100 million a year or less out of that billion in rent? Because they want to ultimately pay the commercial property off. The commercial property, and there will be exclusions to this based on location. Commercial property, especially in the democratically controlled states, has plummeted. The real estate where people want to go is accelerating. So again, Doug, here's the thing. At the end of the day, the best survival advice is you want to be where everyone else isn't. You want to be where an emergency on your part isn't how do I say that? Isn't the responsibility of somebody you can call, because you took the responsibility to try and, by God's wisdom, to get prepared. Get prepared. First and foremost, 25 years on talk radio for me, your head, your thinking, your thoughts, your perception, is the most important survival, what would you say, not only mindset, but it's the most important prep you can make. If I tell you and I prep you for alien disclosure, by the way, you guys, here's what's going on with alien disclosure, and I've been told this from people in the background. They want to cover up all the Aztec alien artifacts. They want to cover up anything, literally meaning take it. They want everything under their control. So when they break the alien are our gods and saviors, there's nothing to challenge them based on archaeological finds. Does that make sense, Doug?
Absolutely, it makes sense. It speaks, by the way, it also speaks to, in a sense, to the PDF that, and I want to thank our supporters for keeping us on the air, but the PDF that you had constructed.
Well, here's the deal. The expedition continues. The guys that are doing it are some of the bravest men. That's not, I mean, thank God they're Mexican, or they'd end up probably in a really dire situation. Please pray for this. I'm thanking all of you guys who are our prayer partners, the financial partners. But this is critical because for once, Tom Horn, myself, and others, we're not the only ones in Christendom that are doing it, but we've been doing it the longest, are telling you God is putting us ahead of the narration. Now, when Jesus said, Satan, get thee behind me, that means follow after. So no matter what we turn up, no matter how many archaeologists people say, oh, they're fake, or this or that. Well, how can they be fake over 600 to 800 square miles? How can they have the aliens so complete? And do they all listen to Steve Quayle? I'm making fun now. And the planet Rahab and the or Astra, the planet that even Bode's Law postulates had to have been between Jupiter and Mars. And by the way, that's where the asteroid belt is. So how can that be portrayed on some kind of a stone in such detail, and then literally having stargates to the earth from that which was? Doug, that's mind-blowing to me. And I believe the Mexican-Aztec interplay, and by the way, it also shows the aliens building the pyramids, and it also shows the aliens teaching the Aztecs human sacrifice. Lovely. So that PDF, you guys, I want you to know, that was put superbly together by Daniel Holdings. And God bless him, but that's probably one of the most important pieces that you can imagine, meaning pieces of data and information, because it's going to prove critical in helping you not to be deceived. And Doug, again, I want to thank all of your viewers, all of my viewers, our collective viewers, for standing behind the Hagmann fundraiser with Tom Horn and I. And thank you. I have yet to hear one criticism after the person got the PDF that it isn't the most mind-blowing stuff they've ever seen. I know a very famous female that's on Coast to Coast, no names, and said, well, she's been told there are 5 alien species. You guys in the PDF should have close to 27.
And to those who have not received them yet, trust me, we're working on it. Some people had folks. If you sent by mail and didn't include your email address, we're having some issues there. But everyone who wants it is getting it. And if you haven't gotten it yet, please send an email to studio@hagmannreport.com. We'll make sure you get it. Again, we can't print it out. It's just too voluminous and it's too image heavy. And we're going to have to get it to you digitally. But thank you. And Steve, thank you. And Daniel Holdings, my goodness, you're a talent. Thank you. But Steve, we're at the end of the show. I want to just say thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. And we appreciate your warnings, your early. Steve Quayle is like the early warning system of media. He really is. I love the guy. Steve, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Doug. Blessings to all of you. Thank you for your support for the Hagmann Report. Bye-bye, Doug.
All right, bye-bye. Folks, that was Steve Quayle, stevequayle.com. And again, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much for allowing this platform to bring you Steve Quayle, guests like Steve Quayle, and even me. All right. Now, I know you put up